Welcome everyone to an exciting battle between Cindarov and Hikaru Nakamura, and we have a young boy who's here to make the first move. He's donning the Uzbek flag, and you can see Cindarov is quite animated, and so is Hikaru there. And I think for the kid this will be a memory forever. He plays pawn to e4. Hikaru nods his head, shakes his hand, so does Sindarov, and takes the pawn back. This is Uzbekistan versus USA match, and off we go. Hikaru starts off with c4, the English. Knight to f6, and we have knight c3. And g6 played. Wow. Cindarov is basically telling Hikaru that I'm going to play the King's Indian defense against you, an opening that Hikaru made a living with. Wow, that's really some guts there. And Hikaru is now thinking, what's the way in which I should take advantage of this bravery that my opponent is showing? Castles for black, knight to f3, goes for the main line, classical system, but plays c5 here, Cindarov. e5 is the main move, castles, takes, and all of a sudden we are in the accelerated dragon territory with c4 and e4 pawns, which is known as the Marokzi bind setup. Bishop e3 played here by Hikaru, and now Javokhir goes bishop d7. A typical idea here is to take on d4, bishop d4 and bishop c6, putting pressure on the e4 pawn. So white often retreats the knight back to c2, saying that, hey, I have more space and I want to keep more pieces on the board. But you need to be prepared for these things. You can't think about it in a 3-minute game. Hikaru is deciding between moves like queen d2, f3, b3, rook c1. All look actually pretty decent at this point. And this is the thing that I've been seeing in this tournament about Hikaru. He's a bit rusty. He hasn't brushed up on his openings. He's thinking a bit too much. He goes queen d2 here, and very quickly Javokhir takes on d4 and plays bishop c6, putting pressure on the e4 pawn. So f3 played and a5. This is a multi-purpose move because you stop white from expanding with b4, gain some space, want to even play a4 and get your knight to c5 eventually. Knight jumps to d5. Maybe an interesting decision, because now you can take, and bishop d7 and play this position, which seems like roundabout even. I don't know if Javokhir wants to trade off so many pieces. The other idea is to take here directly, and after cd5 play knight d7, but then you can maintain the two bishops. You don't need to trade it. So one of the things that black is aiming for is to get this knight versus this bishop, and white's bishop on e2 is a little bit of a problem piece. And this is the reason why Javokhir Sindarov is taking his time here. He's not rushing in with his move, because there are many options. You can take here, you can take with the knight, you can play knight d7 as well, because clearly bishop b6 could be a threat. So he goes knight d7. He plays it and he offers a trade of bishops. Now a very natural move is to go back, bishop e3. But Hikaru takes, king takes, and plays queen d4. Not at all a good move. And e5 instantly played by Cindarov. Because now all of a sudden if you play queen d2 or something, there's going to be take and queen b6 check. So he goes queen e3, trying to keep the queen on this diagonal. But think about it, bishop takes, you get the position with a good knight versus not so great bishop, a4, gaining space on the queen side. And this knight can jump to c5, where it would be like on an outpost, but also it would love to come to the f4 square at some point. It's not so simple here to convert this into a win. It's surely a pleasant position for black. Now b4 played by Hikaru. He's stopping knight c5 from coming in and also gaining space on the queen side. So logical A logical move is to do en passant, and that's exactly what he does. And what a move h5 is. Now you might think, what is Javokhir doing here? Well, he's going to play h4. First b4 played, h4 also played, and now he's bringing in his knight like this. That's just absolutely amazing understanding. Rook fc1. He takes on a1, rook a1, and now quickly gets knight f6. So think about it. Knight h5, knight f4, queen g5, f5 if needed. Whew! Amazing. Okay, Hikaru comes rook c1. And now knight h5 played, b5. This is not a good move, because suddenly you can get your queen to a5. You can also play your knight to f4. He jumps in, bishop f1. And what about queen g5? Gets in, threatening knight h3 check. The queen is hanging. And the rook could also potentially hang here. So perhaps king h1 is the logical move, to move the king to the side. Also, Hikaru slightly down on the clock, 40 seconds only. He plays king h1, rook a8, instantly, like a bullet. Queen d2 played. And now, these are the moments which are the toughest. How to break through, because rook a2 is stopped. There's nothing concrete here. And you need to keep your patience. He comes back queen d8. What a move. He's going to actually go queen b6 perhaps. Queen f2, trying to control this diagonal. And rook a3. He gets the rook in. And now Hikaru has to wait. You know, there's nothing too much he can do. Rook b1, rook d1. Something has to be played. But he goes b6. He wants to get rook to c7. But rook b6. Now the b pawn is hanging. Rook c7. But rook to b1. Extremely powerful move. Pinning the bishop on the last rank. Is it so simple to find? Because you are losing your b7 pawn, and it can be a little bit worrisome as the b pawn becomes very strong. But the idea of rook b1 is that you're using this bishop's kind of pin on the last rank to get in your pieces. He finds it. Rook takes b7, and now the move here is either queen a8 or queen c8 to come in on the last rank. But there's also the move queen to g5, which is incredibly strong. He plays queen g5. And actually speaking, huge threats now. Knight d3 is a threat. He comes in. You know, there's a smile on his face there. Cindarov is like, I've seen a beautiful mate. Because he's seen queen g1, queen e3. That's just beautiful. Queen takes e3, rook f1, queen g1 and knight f2 mate. Smothered mate. Oh, he moves the queen one step ahead, which is also very strong. I mean, Javokhir Sindarov has 26 seconds to finish off this game. Goes for a check, king h2, finds it, g3. And now queen takes f3 as well. This b pawn is going nowhere. This attack is just completely decisive. G takes h4. Hikaru shaking his head there. Knight takes pawn. The f1 bishop is hanging. There's hardly any moves here. He goes queen g4. And Javokhir now picks up the bishop. It's a mate here. And Hikaru resigns. What an insane game by Cindarov. He played a flawless game of chess. He also smiled in the middle. He had the smothered mate idea. Man, this guy is an absolute monster on the board. And truly an insanely good game played here by Javokhir.